Hey man, say man, what's good with y'all boys today? I'll be talking about UFC Saudi Arabia. It's on our doorsteps. It's this Saturday. I will be attending it, not live, but I'll be watching it. Awesome card. This is a really great card. I love this card so much. Better than the card that is coming up a week after this card, UFC 312. I'll be making a video about how horrendous that card is. But Israel Adesanya takes on Nasruddin Imavov. I'll be starting off with the main event. Now, if you guys watch my channel, then you guys know I basically said Israel Adesanya was a lock coming into this fight. Yes, I know Nasruddin Imavov is incredibly dangerous. This guy has really great grappling. He's a really good grappler. Decent wrestling, decent boxing, was able to rock Jerry Cannonier in their fight, but we all know that was an early stoppage. Adesanya, I don't know if Adesanya is that hungry. If Adesanya is hungry enough to wanting to prove all the doubters wrong, because I think he is coming into this fight as an underdog. I think so. I think he's coming on this fight an underdog. This is a closer fight than I think, because back in the day I said, dude, this fight is literally Adesanya's gonna KO him. Now that it's a little bit more close. Now I think Adesanya has like maybe like a 40% chance of winning this fight, to be honest, because Nasruddin Imavov has great grappling, can take the fight on the ground pretty easily, and he has decent boxing. And yeah, we know Israel Adesanya lost to Dricus du Plessis, but Dricus du Plessis was bigger than him, or I don't know if he was bigger than him on the night, but he looked big. He used his physicality to drag Israel Adesanya to the ground and submit him while rocking him. And Dricus is someone with a lot of power, so it is very unlikely for Nasruddin Imavov to submit him. I think only Dricus can do that because he's just so physical when he fights. He really brings his body and strength to you while he's fighting. But Israel Adesanya, I could see Israel Adesanya countering Nasruddin Imavov and sprawling with the takedowns, because Israel Adesanya has good takedown defense. I'm going with Israel Adesanya to win by KO still. It is a harder fight. This is a real 50-50 fight. I'm going to be honest. This is a real 50-50 because if Nasruddin Imavov can win those later rounds and win them by decision, I could see that happening. Adesanya, now we know what he's capable of. That last fight, he threw around 40 significant strikes in the third and fourth round. The most significant strikes he's ever threw in the third and fourth round. We know cruise mode Izzy. Shout out Lucas Tracy. He always talks about cruise mode Izzy and how Izzy doesn't really throw too much output when it comes to his fights. But Israel Adesanya was throwing a lot of output in that fight. He was actually outstriking Dricus du Plessis at moments. So I'm going to go with Israel Adesanya by a round 2 KO still. I still think he can knock out Nasruddin Imavov. I still think he can. If Nasruddin Imavov takes him down, it is a different story. But the pick I'm going with is I'm going to go with Israel Adesanya by round 2 KO. But do not be surprised if Nasruddin Imavov can pull it out. Then we have a really fun fight. We have Michael Venom Page, MVP, one of my favorite fighters of all time, taking on Shara the Fraud Magomedov. Now, you guys might be saying, why is he a fraud? He literally KO'd his last opponent. Dude, guys, this guy has pillow punches. This guy can't knock out anyone with his hands. The only time Shara Bullet can knock out someone is when he has a pitch-perfect strike. Okay, let me say this. He has no power, but he has really great output. He will be outlanding Michael Venom Page, but Michael Venom Page has power in his hands. Power. Literally, he has so much power in his hands. He only loses to grapplers. You know what I'm saying? Yes, we know he got knocked out by Douglas Lima, but that was actually a fluky win. But listen, guys. I think MVP is going to win by a decision, a unanimous decision. Shara's going to be there, But Michael Venom Page is gonna land those spinning elbows. He's gonna land that darting right hand he always does. Was landing on that on Kevin Holland all night. And I think his style is literally insane. Shara Bullet wouldn't be able to adjust in this fight because Michael Venom Page is just too much. Uh, yeah, I don't see Shara Bullet winning this fight unless he actually shows a dominant performance. I know he can't knock out Michael Venom Page. The only way he can win is by throwing a lot of output, outlanding Michael Venom Page, and the first round's gonna be close. But the first round will probably go to Shara Bullet, to be honest. But the second round and the third round will be going to Michael Venom Page, in my opinion. I just think he's too fast. He's 38 years old. He's an old vet, you know. He's one of those vets that can still have his speed like Jose Aldo. And I still think MVP is on a different level. I think he's one of the best strikers in the UFC. Yeah, we know he lost to Ian Gary, but dude, he was still out striking Gary on the feet. And Gary's actually a pretty decent striker. So yeah, I'm gonna go with Michael Venom Page by unanimous decision. Shara Bullet has a chin though. He was getting pieced up by Armand Petrolier in their fight in that first round. You know what I'm saying? So I'm gonna go with Michael Venom Page by unanimous decision. Tell me what you guys think in the comments about that, because I feel like this is kind of a controversial take, to be honest. Sergey Pavlovich is back, and he's going to be fighting Josinho Rosenstrike. This fight has KO written all over it. Last time we saw Sergey Pavlovich fight, he got outboxed, out technical. Like, he just got completely destroyed in this fight against what's his name again? The tall dude. I keep forgetting his name. Alexander Volkov. But Sergey Pavlovich is still that monster we know. He still has KO power. Josinho has kind of been one of those guys that he's not that good. Josinho Rosenstrike. You know, he beat Tai Tuivasa, but who hasn't beat Tai Tuivasa? You know, everyone beats Tai Tuivasa. He's washed up now. Sergey is a big step up in competition. Sergey, you know, great record, 18-3, monster power, very strong. I think the thing is with the Volkov fight, Volkov knew the range so well, and he was outlanding him, outboxing him, doing everything perfectly to beat Volkov. And I don't think Josinho got knocked out by Volkov. I'm not trying to do MMA math here, but you kind of have to do that when you're taking up these matches, you know. And I think Sergey's gonna knock this guy out cold. I think Sergey's gonna uppercut this guy to hell. His head's gonna go back. It's gonna look like Francis Ngannou versus that one dude. I keep forgetting his name. But can Josinho Rosenstrike knock out Sergey? Of course. Sergey. We know Sergey doesn't have that good of a chin. You know, we know he can get knocked out now ever since Tom Aspinall. But still, I think Sergey is still one of the better heavyweights in this division. And Josinho is just pretty fat, and he's a short dude. So, yeah, I'm sorry if that's a bad take, but not really a take, but it's a bad prediction. But it's kind of easy fight to predict. Said Nurmagomedov is back, and he's fighting Vinicius Oliveira. If you don't know who Vinicius Oliveira is, he kind of won, or he didn't kind of win. He won against Sopaj back in not December, but I don't know which fight night what it was. It was a flying knee one. But if you guys remember that fight, he was getting out grappled, and he was pretty much losing that fight. That if that knee didn't land, he would have probably lost that fight, to be honest. Said Nurmagomedov, great grappling. He has a Nurmagomedov last name. So I'm picking Said Nurmagomedov. God damn! Said Nurmagomedov by a unanimous decision. He could get the submission. He has great submission skills, pretty decent hands. Vinicius Oliveira, very entertaining, but I still think he is a cusp below the elite. Inside is very elite. Doesn't have a ranking spot, which is kind of surprising. I thought he would have a number 15. But the bantamweight division is insanely stacked. So yeah, I don't know. I'm gonna go with Said Nurmagomedov by a unanimous decision. Then we have Ikram Oleskrov. I can't tap the screen. Okay, we're just gonna be talking about like this. Ikram Oleskrov last fought in July. He fought Robert Whitaker and got knocked out. And Andre Muniz. I don't know who was his last opponent, to be honest. Let me check who he. I know he fought very recently. Okay, he just fought Park, some Park or something like that. I don't know. Lost to Paul Craig. Lost to Brendan Allen. I'm still gonna go with Ikram Eleskrov. To be honest, I still think Ikram has wicked power, great kicks. You know, he only lost to the elite Hamza Chimaev and Robert Whitaker, and those guys are probably one of the best in the division. And let's be honest, it was a big step up in competition. But yeah, I think Ikram's gonna knock out Andrew Muniz in the second round with a 1-2 straight down the pipe. Andre doesn't have that much of a chin, to be honest. You know, he kind of gets finished by everyone if you just have great output in wicked power, and Ikram has both. And we know how well Ikram does when it's the Saudi crowds, the Middle Eastern crowds, you know, rallies him up. Muhammad Naimov versus Khan Olifi. I'm gonna go with Muhammad Naimov. Khan Olifi is fighting off the tough series, or the Dana White Contender series. And dude, I'm sorry, bro. It's just you're not in the UFC. This guy's in the UFC. Muhammad's in the UFC. So I just have to go with Muhammad because he's just on the UFC. 12-3-1. Not a bad record. Both have very similar records, to be honest. But the thing is, he's the longer fighter, and he's been in the UFC. So I'm gonna go with Muhammad Nikayev. Now we're gonna go to the real main event. If y'all see my screen, or not my screen, but if you guys see my profile picture, it's Shamil the Blob Gaziev, one of my favorite fighters. Just super funny looking, to be honest, too. And he's fighting Thomas Peterson. This guy should be a middleweight. I don't know why the hell he's fighting at heavyweight, but that's kind of where you're at when you're fighting in heavyweight. You're just seeing a lot of flyweights that should be fighting. You're seeing a lot of heavyweights that should be fighting. That should be fighting in flyweight, to be honest. So I'm gonna go with Shamil by first round knockout, or he's gonna hit him with the right hand. Thomas Peterson's gonna back up on the fence, ground and pound to oblivion. That's what I'm seeing. That's what I'm seeing. Shamil's only lost to Jazina Rosenstrike, who's proved to be a very good contender in the heavyweight division. Shamil still has wicked power. He last beat Dontel Mays in a very impressive performance, to be honest. That was very impressive. I could see him taking down Thomas Peterson and ground pounding him, but I think this fight is just going to be a demolition job, to be honest. Abdul Karim Al Swadi versus Bokak Ochori. I just think Abdul's going to get it done, mate. I think Abdul's going to get it done. I think Abdul's going to get it done. Bolaki, I haven't seen much of you, man. From Belgium. Shout out Belgium. Haven't seen much of you, but I have seen Abdul Karim Al Swadi fight in a couple cards. So I'm going to go with him by a unanimous decision. Terrence McKinney versus Damir Havicic. Now, you might know Terrence McKinney because he kind of gets knocked out by everyone. You know, he has a horrible chin. You know, his chin is deteriorating. Look at that smile on him. You know, he knows he's going to get knocked out this fight, and I'm going to go with Damir Havicic by a unanimous decision. I think he's going to drop him a bunch of times. Both have similar records, but the only thing is Damir hasn't lost by KO maybe like 7 times. So I'm going to go with him by a unanimous decision. We have the Frenchman, Fariz Ziam versus Mike Davis. Who do I want to go with, dude? I kind of want to go with Mike Davis. I've seen Mike Davis a lot. That's why I've seen Mike Davis a lot. I'm gonna go with Freeze. I've actually seen Freeze fight a bunch of times, and this guy's actually a killer, to be honest. 75-inch reach. So this guy has a very long reach for the lightweight division. Very long, very tall, 6'1". That's gigantic for the lightweight division. I'm gonna go with him by a round 2 KO. Mike Davis hasn't shown a good chin, to be honest. He gets rocked around. Marabuna Silva versus Jasmine Giuseppe. I'm gonna go with Marabuna Silva. To be honest, I'm gonna go with Marabuna Silva. The wins won by a split decision. You know, with these women fights, you kind of have to just go with a decision or split decision because that's what basically everything happens. Yes, I know Mackenzie Dern submitted that other one. I forgot her name, but I don't really have much to say. 10-4, 12-3. Jasmine does have the better record, but I've seen more of Maribona Silva, to be honest. So I'm gonna go with her by a split decision. Then we have Bodan Grad versus Lucas Alexander. Now, this guy's coming off the Dana White Contender Series. This is his debut in the UFC. I'm still gonna go with Lucas Alexander because he's just been in the UFC, and yes, we know not every time these guys come to the UFC, I actually made that mistake before, which I pick a Dana White Contender Series guy to lose against one of the vets, and they actually get it done, like the other dude that fought on the Buckley card that I predicted that one of the other guys to beat the Dana White Contender Series guys, and he got beat up. So yeah, I'm gonna go with Lucas Alexander by first round KO. Hamadi Abudabab versus Jamal Pojies. These guys look so fat, dude. Like look at their bodies. Seriously, look at their bodies. These guys should be fighting in freaking welterweight. Dude, I'm gonna go with Hamada Abdullah from Egypt. Shout out my Egypt boys. Been to Egypt back in the day, but I don't want to make it about me. Hamidi, I haven't seen these guys fight, to be honest. Jamal, dude, I'm sorry, dude, but that haircut, it needs to go, man. It just needs to go. My boy Hamadi, he's looking fresh, man. He needs a trim, but he's looking fresh. He's looking good. From Egypt. Love all my Egypt boys out there. And I'm going to pick him by a unanimous decision. And that was the entire card. If you guys like this type of content, please make sure to subscribe, like the video, because it shows that you guys like my content. And I was posting on TikTok for a little while. It's back, but I got a new phone, and I basically don't have TikTok anymore. So the TikToks are going to have to end. I might start making YouTube shorts because it's just a little bit easier, to be honest. And yeah, thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.